Hello students. So this is the 16th video on module 1 of computer organization. So in the last video I was explaining you about the subroutines and the processor stack, how the return address from each of the subroutine will be stored in the processor stack in order to return to the to its previous subroutine which has called it. So in this way, each and every time whenever a subroutine will call another subroutine, its address will be entered into the stack processor. So whenever it returns a value to the previous address, whichever to the previous subroutine whichever has called it, so that time the address will be removed from the processor stack. So for this we make use of a special type of register called as a stack pointer. So this was about the subroutine and processor stack. Next we will see how what is parameter passing, how we are going to pass different values and other things in this subheading. So when calling a subroutine, a program must provide to the subroutine the parameters. So what are the values we want to pass, how they will be passed, everything we are going to see here. That is the operands or their addresses to be used in the computation. Later the subroutine returns other parameters, in this case the result of the computation. So that's what, like whatever is required by subroutine. For example, if the subroutine performs addition operation, then the values operands values has to be passed to the subroutine. So once it has done, the result will be passed back as a return value to the program which has called it. This exchange of information between a calling program and a subroutine referred to as a parameter passing. So the information exchange between the calling program or a main program, we can tell, and also the subroutine, we call it as parameter passing. Parameter passing may be accomplished in several ways. The parameters may be placed in register or in memory. So where they can be accessed by the subroutine. So they can be placed, the values or the operands, they may be placed in the registers or it can be placed in the memory, and also they can be accessed by the subroutines. So alternatively, the parameters may be placed on the processor stack used by saving the return address. So they can be placed in parameter stack also. Either they can be accessed with the help of the registers or the memory locations also. So the purpose of the subroutines is to add a list of numbers. Instead of passing the actual list entries, the calling program passes the address of the first number in the list. So here how we are going to access the number or how we are going to pass the values is, we are going to create a list first. In that we are going to send the address of the first value of the list, and according to that all the other values also will be fetched. This technique is called passing by reference. Passing by values and passing by reference are the two methods which are used. So first method is passing by value. We are going to pass the values either with the help of the registers or with the help of the memory locations. So directly we'll be passing the values, whereas here in call passing by reference is nothing but we are just going to send the first address, first values address in the list, and automatically other values also can be fetched. The second parameter is passed by value, that is the actual number of the entries is passed to the subroutine. So this was about the parameter passing techniques. Next we are going to see what is a stack frame. So stack frame, now observe how space is used in the stack is in the example. During execution of the subroutine, 6 locations at the top of the stack contain entries that are needed by the subroutine. These locations constitute a private workspace for the subroutine created at the time the subroutine is entered and freed up when the subroutine returns control to the calling program. So here we can see one example how actually the subroutine and the stack frame will work. Okay. So first what they have mentioned here is, observe how space is used in the stack in the example. During execution of the subroutine, 6 locations at the top of the stack. So here these are the 6 places where actually we are saved it, like 6 locations at the top of the stack contain entries that are needed by the subroutine. So these locations constitute the private workspace for the subroutine created at the time the subroutine is entered and freed up when the subroutine returns control to the calling program. So such space is called as a stack frame. So we can see here in this example, this one 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. So these 6 locations have been stored for or saved for the subroutine. So these subroutine, the values will be entered into these memory locations, or they may be deleted based on whenever the subroutine is called and returned to the main program. So here you have part A and part B. So in part A, what we can see is there is a program how actually the stack has been created and how it can store the elements into the stack and all. And here we can see the stack frame. Stack frame consists of the data which the locations which will be used by the subroutine, the workspace used by the subroutine. So figure B shows an example of a commonly used layout for information in a stack frame. In addition to the stack pointer SP, it is useful to have another pointer register called as a frame pointer. So along with the stack pointer, we are going to make use of one more register here, which is called as frame pointer, for convenient access to the parameters passed to the subroutine and to the local memory variables used by the subroutine. So either whenever the elements are being passed or the values are being passed, so that can be accessed with the help of stack pointer as well as a frame pointers. These local variables are only used within the subroutine, so it is appropriate to allocate space for them in the stack frame associated with the subroutine. We assume that 4 parameters are passed to the subroutine. 3 local variables are used within the subroutine, and the registers R0 and R1 need to be saved because they will also be used within the subroutine. So for example, here 4 parameters are being passed, that is 3 local variables, and also 2 registers are being used. The pointers SP and FP are manipulated as the stack frame is built, used, and dismantled for a particular of the subroutine. We begin by assuming that SP point to the old top of the stack element in figure B. Before the subroutine is called, the calling program pushes the 4 parameters onto the stack. The call instruction is then executed, the resulting in the result in the return address being pushed onto the stack. So whatever parameters are being pushed onto the stack, those parameters will be used by the subroutine and it will be executed, and later it will the return address will be given to the subroutine, to the stack frame where it will be stored, and from there it will be returned back to the main program. Now SP points to this return address and the first instruction of the subroutine is about to be executed. This is the point at which the frame pointer is set to contain the proper memory address. So SP will point to the first instruction and FP will point to the first variable, or from where it has to access the memory, from where it has to access the value. So since FP is usually a general purpose register, it may contain information of use to the calling program. Therefore, it contents are saved by pushing them onto the stack. Since the SP now points to this position, its contents are copied into FP. So whatever was present in SP, so it has been copied to frame pointer. Thus, the first 2 instructions executed in the subroutine are move FP, minus of SP, that is auto decrement FP. After these instructions are executed, both SP and FP point to the saved FP contents. Subtract #12, SP. Finally, the contents of processor register R0 and R1 are saved by pushing them onto the stack. At this point, the stack frame has been set up as shown in the figure. So in this figure we can see here how SP and FP will be set. So from here actually the return address will be taken and it will be given to the stack pointer, where actually the control will be given to the main program once the program has been once the subroutine has been executed. So this is how the stack frame will work, and it consists of 2 pointers. One is stack pointer, the other one is the frame pointer. Thank you.